so that Aurora are on the back foot because their heroes do need to farm more. The question is, will they play around their Sand King correctly this time? Because if they do, they have a good shot.
Well, we're gonna find out what the coach thinks about that, as it's Birion who's getting the chance to talk to Blink.
Indeed, thank you, Shiva. I am here with Blink, coach of Team Zero. Helen will be translating. My first question is, game one was pretty rough. That was pretty rough. You guys only got 3 kills. We were, expecting a little better. What went wrong in game one, and what do you think you've done to fix it for game two?
第一把其实并没有太理想，只拿了3个人头。我们想知道第一把的话做了哪些调整，然后你觉得问题在哪里？
我觉得第一把可能是发挥的不太好吧。就其实我在外面听沟通的都挺不错的，但是可能没有往我们预期发展吧。然后后期确实有点难打，我们前期错过了强势期。
Actually, for the first game, I was listening into their team comm and it actually went okay. We didn't perform to our best. However, we missed our timing where the late game became a little hard to play. However, we could have done better.
Fantastic. Okay. So obviously you were famous for playing on wings, and wings were known for being very unpredictable and hard to draft against, hard to know what they're going to do next. Have you tried to bring some of that style to Team Zero?
其实我们知道你在 Wings 的成名战的时候是有点难以预测的，有没有把这些特点带过来这边给新的队伍呢？
多少有一些吧，就是在我们赛后复盘的时候之类的，然后包括选阵容的时候，会跟我的队员就是说一些传授一些吧，算是，然后打法风格可能会有一点类似吧。
Actually, yes. During our draft and post game discussions, I actually bring a little bit of my knowledge and pass it down to these players, and our play style will actually have some sort of traits that will.
Oh, wow, fantastic. And also, you were famous for being a great Mirana player back in the day. How much would you like to be playing Mirana in this patch now when she seems incredibly strong?
以前你是一位很有名的白虎玩家，你现在有多希望自己玩的是这个版本的白虎呢？
确实，白虎这次就非常厉害吧，这次 TI， 就我也玩了一下，也就是玩的很爽啊。我也希望就是也希望我能再上场玩一下的感觉。
Indeed, Mirana is really strong right now. I played a bit of it and it feels awesome. I wish that I get to play it on stage again sometime.
So much. And over to our casters, Sunsfan and Cinderin.
Thank you, Pierre. That was a great interview. I could listen to that literally the entire game. In fact, I would rather that than listen to the sound of my own voice. And
I thought you were going to say me. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Back to Pierre.
All right, well, we got a little bit of catching up to do with the lanes here. So you guys obviously, I think it's fair to say game number 1, Team Zero, things didn't go according to plan, but it was actually very nice to hear from Blink that, despite the game from our perspective looking like everything went wrong, he didn't seem too phased by it, and you would hope for the players, this is a young team, a lot of the players maybe don't have as much experience playing on the biggest of stages or playing together for that long, that having a coach with that calm voice being like, all right, guys, you can easily dig yourself into a hole after a game like that. Avoid that, Things went wrong, these were the things we did incorrectly, and they've made some serious adjustments for this game. They've only got 1 repeat hero from the previous draft, which is that Sand King. On the side of Aurora, it's also a completely switched up strategy, actually 5 new heroes from them as well, so very major adjustments coming out. But yeah, the silver lining is, game 1 went poorly, we get another shot. And
yeah.
As for Aurora, that was a great show from them last game, Everything
they
came together.
They absolutely crushed, and yeah, it's great to have a TI winner as your coach. Can't go wrong with that. And I wanted to ask you, as we get into the game now, as we're going to see 7E again play the Sand King in the mid lane. This time it's against the Storm Spirit instead of the Timbersaw. I guess quickly we can go over this matchup before I ask my question.
Yeah, I mean, Sand King mid probably just farms relatively well against everything, right? If the matchup is bad to play head-on in the lane, you go and pull the wave and pull it into the neutrals, which C7E is going to probably do now, with the Sandstorm just pulling it away and farming it as he moves. So even historically bad matchups of Sand King mid, I think are just mostly playable. I'm trying to imagine what the worst possible one is. In the past, would probably something like Huskar, but I think even now, again, he's going to pull the wave, right? So there's oh, that's unlucky. Can't get that one back. Yeah, I don't think there's any matchup that Sand King can't play.
Okay, so on to my actual question, Cinderin. So Doom, Mr. Jabs, seeing a lot of the gluttony facet, or no, sorry, I forget the name of the other one, actually.
Devil's Bargain?
Yeah, Devil's Bargain, where you refund your items. This one I haven't seen as much of. The 2 charges, a lot of people really didn't like this at first. Why is this being picked up in this game?
So I don't remember exactly. Oh, hang on.
First.
Ponlo
pops the Fairy Fire and dies shortly after, so Ollie gets credit for that one.
That is how we do things. This game is rated X.
Yeah, so as far as Gluttony goes, I'm not 100% positive that when it came out that it worked this exact way. Because obviously what you trade off is that you get 2 charges on Devour, but then the cooldown is longer.
Yeah.
However, you get an extra level on the Stolen Creep abilities, which can make your laning really powerful if you get the right spells. If you get something like the Chain Lightning Harpy, or maybe in some cases the Ice Ogre, it can make a big difference.
I believe only he and Chen now can get the highest level creeps.
Yeah, that should be the case.
Which I'd have to look at all the spells again on the creeps to see which ones actually scale, because it feels like they're all just very small incremental changes.
Yeah, it's generally not that significant on the higher level creeps, but getting from level 1 to 2 creeps in the first few minutes can actually be very powerful in the right circumstances. So I think that's a big part of it, is that you just want to make sure that your Doom gets off to as good of a lane as possible. It's a very snowbally hero by nature. And on top of that, also if you have a bit of a mid-game timing where you're busy, then knowing that you're not completely wasting away by not using it. Oh, hang on, YSR
yes, sir, is dead.
That is an unexpected kill.
The old Doom sniper combo, boy oh boy. That is a thing for the ages. Remember that from TI2, TI3.
A highly surprising kill there. So,
because there was a rotation over, as Ollie's going to get caught out onto the high ground. But we'll be able to use Drinking Buddies onto 23 Savage to get away. So again, Aurora off to, I mean, it's still very early, but they're continuing where they left off, Syndrin. They have a lot more kills in this series so far than Team Zero.
Yeah, in the previous game, it was kind of a similar story, right? Your bleeding kills is 0, but the lanes were actually going okay. All 3 of their cores were getting net worth, and we're kind of seeing the same pattern again, that all 3 cores, looking down the lane, the Radiant lineup, are just fine. Yeah, he'll get out.
Fine. Ollie always in the right place.
So lane mechanics-wise, Team Zero seems pretty stable. Like, all of their lanes, once again, are going fine. In particular, the Kunkka against Dragon Knight is actually quite one-sided right now, with the Kunkka leading by 8 denies and 10 CS. But, of course, the kill that Aurora did get up there will help alleviate some of that pressure. But so far, so good for Zero in terms of the laning stage. Laurenov going to farm up a very nice stack here that was made very early on. Needs to be careful not to die to it, though. But he will, with one more Remnant, be able to clear it out.
7E with that invis. Using that epicenter, looking for the burrow. Actually doesn't have mana right now, as the snowball save from Ollie. And the ice shards to disconnect. 7E not able to find him quite yet, but Ponlo is going to be teaming up here. And Pale will connect and eventually should be a kill onto Ollie. So 7E not wasting his time this time around, or this game.
Yep. And now the Wisdom Runes are coming up. Neither team in position for them, but nobody's contesting either, so it doesn't seem like that's going to lead to any sort of unusual outcome than the common exchange. Jabs going aggressively. I mean, he's really trying to strike the fear into the side of Team Zero's carry here. Just went very aggressively down with the Doom toward the Windranger with no backup and scared her off. So, bit of a mental game here going on between the two.
So, looking at the lineups overall, since we don't really get to talk too much about this, what are you liking for both sides?
So I think in comparison to last game where we had some criticisms about what ended up happening to Zero's lineup, I think this time around, first of all, I think they're more sustainable in the fights. They have Sunray and they have Ghost Ship. And instead of having the Tusk, Sand King, and Centaur be these 3 melee cores that kind of offer the same single target stun, now you have the Lion for a bit more burst from range. You have a different type of control. And of course, the Kunkka seems to be one of the heroes of the tournament. So I personally like their lineup better. I also think, on average, Windranger is probably a stronger carry in this patch than Shadow Fiend. So they got the better end of that trade while banning Morphling away from 23 Savage as well. So I think all that is quite good. On the side of Aurora, it looked like a very it's a really good Storm game when he gets the protection he needs from the enemy stuns. Once that's the case, multiple really nice targets. He eats the supports for breakfast. The Doom has got off to a good start in the lane, so he should be getting quite rich. And one of the best ways of solving auras is...
Ooh, with the last millisecond actually canceling that TP. 23 Savage now caught off guard, and here comes
done.
Beyond with the boat and the eventual kill. Nice pick off there for Team Zero.
Is under attack.
We have a TP from Lorenoff.
This is a quite meaningful lead. 2k gold, 9 minutes against Doom.
Yeah, true.
So I guess I say against Doom. Let's not count Devour too much in the early minutes of the game. It doesn't do that much, but it's something. And
Baby Alchemy.
If nothing else, it is better than last time. And it feels like their lineup is going to have a more natural progression. And I wanted to talk about the mentality aspect as well, right? We talked about the coach and whatnot. It's super important when you have a pretty good group stage. You then go into a tiebreaker where you kind of get figured out and lose to a team that you were doing well against. Then you open up the playoffs and you get stomped in game 1. It's really, really important for them for the remainder of this tournament. No matter the outcome of this tournament, that they have, or rather, the outcome of the series, that they have a solid second game here, so it doesn't become this completely just landslide of everything going wrong back to back.
Yeah, for sure.
So even if the series goes 1 and 2, if they have a positive game where things go right, they have something to take with them to the next series. And so far, this is shaping up to be a game that could very well go their way if things keep going according to plan. So that's good to see that it didn't just fall off a cliff.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because that's the mental aspect of Dota, or any sport in general. That's something that's often overlooked. And I mean, you're former pro player yourself, Cinderin, very illustrious career.
And I have been
better than most.
I have very much been on the receiving end of teams breaking apart. As sad as that is to say out loud, like,
but didn't you win a game where you went 0-19 on Pudge?
That might have been the case. That was a perfect testament to strong mental fortitude on my part, of course. No, but
I'm sure the laughter of your teammates uplifted you during that game.
But it's a real thing, though. You know, if things are going poorly, but you can kind of laugh it off and reset. That's what a lot of the world-class teams do. Is that everybody has bad games. Even the champions of tournaments have games where things just don't go according to plan, but they can reset, they know how good they are, and they get back to their roots and get things figured out. We've seen some of the most dominant teams in the last year or two, like Gaming Gladiators, will win 2 or 3 tournaments, and then they just have a really bad one. And then, you know, what's impressive is that they bounce back from that and start looking at championships again, rather than, you know, making roster changes or overcomplicating things or overcorrecting issues that aren't
I think
maybe that big.
Yeah, I agree. Making the roster changes just seems to be the band-aid in a lot of cases in history.
Right, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But obviously, like I was saying, talking from experience, if your team is having a rough time internally, sometimes it is the only way out. But I think teams in recent memory for me have gotten better at troubleshooting. In the past, it was very much of just like trying to get immediate relief from the problem rather than, you know, taking the time to actually analyze what's going on and working at it as a unit. And I think that's a very healthy development the game has had.
It certainly can be therapeutic to kick someone. I can say that from experience as well. But back into the game we go, 2K lead.
Did you do that in CS or?
Yes, actually.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Usually just ended up me ignoring them, and eventually they just got the idea.
Oh, that's very mature. I am so surprised that you went about it that way.
I was less direct back in the day, believe it or not. Lorenoff.
Lovely.
Off to a very good start, going for I say very good start, actually he's towards the bottom of the cores right now, but I mean the farm distribution not too far off in general, aside from the Kunkka. Beyond is having an incredible start to this game. This hero has been, in a lot of ways, other than Windrunner, it feels like it's the second biggest hero of the tournament overall. What do you think of Kunkka in the current state, and what do you think of the Ags? Because we were discussing this off camera at some point. It seems to be the go-to.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Kunkka has surprised me with how good he has been. I know the hero's solid, but I wasn't expecting him to be one of, you know, the heroes so far. But yeah, the ghost ship is picked up quite frequently. It does do a lot of damage, but it's maybe not necessarily obvious in the fights how it's happening. But then when you look at the breakdown, you're like, all right, he actually did a lot more than I thought. And he's a great utility hero. Having a hero that is solid in lane and can then go different build paths is very powerful. You see this game he's going the Orchid, sometimes you go Auras. The Ags is definitely one of the go-to, as you said, damage options. Okay, Orchid here, no Ags though.
Yeah, we cursed him.
Oh, you revealed the Orchid.
Successfully revealed it. That is technically true.
It is a very important phase that we're entering in the game now, because I was talking about how this could become an incredible game for Lorinov. So striking the fear into him for the next 5 to 10 minutes until he gets an actual solution to this problem will be very valuable. He can somewhat rely on Ollie to save him with drinking buddies, perhaps, into Snowball, but that isn't necessarily enough when the enemy team has this good counterplay to you coming out of Snowball. They have 2 ground stuns. They have Burrow Strike as well as the Earth Spike. So if the supports are, rather the Lion and Sand King are in range of the Snowball exploding, they will easily stop the Storm from jumping afterwards. So that is not a guaranteed layer of protection for him.
Yes, sir. On the Wind Ranger, going to be very standard build with the Maelstrom likely into BKB into Gleipnir.
Middle tower is under
Pretty
attack.
standard.
And for the Kunkka, what is he going for right now? So he went for the Orchid like we talked about. We've been seeing a lot of blade mail because of his innate ability, which is a crazy one, by the way. Just gives a little rum
Yeah, the
buff.
rum's good.
Dyer's
And
middle tower is under attack.
Would you be expecting the blade mail this game, or is it kind of dependent on the lineup?
I don't think it's that good this game, actually. So I would like to see him not get it.
Is not what it used to be.
I don't know how reliably valuable it is against the Storm. You're not playing against something like the Wind Ranger, where it's just a no-brainer. You just run at her, Orchid her. In this case, he probably wouldn't have bought it even, but then blade mail. He's eyeing up a pipe now, which I think is a much better purchase. It was probably going to be between that and Axe. Oh, hang on, Lorinov, they find the Doom.
Doom is on him, and he's just dead. Seth trying to counteract here, but
Close call.
not end up hitting his Burrow Strike, so
Very nice hit and run.
off guard for Aurora, absolutely.
Very, very quick. Get the kill, get out of there. No casualties. Yeah, so I think it was probably between the pipe and the Ags. Going for the pipe route is him saying, I think we have enough damage, and we need to, my job is to keep my team alive. He's getting the Orchid as a layer of control, and he doesn't feel... And I think he's right. You know, Phoenix is one of those supports that can do a ton of damage in later stages of the game in fights, so maybe Kunkka can take a little bit more of a utility path here. And the pipe will very much bridge the gap of the next 10 minutes where Aurora could be very dangerous when they jump you with the Storm, Doom, and Dragon Knight together. You just pop that pipe in the ship, and I think everyone in your team is safe for quite a while. So I think it's a good choice here on the side of him.
We have a smoke from Team 0. The damage rune has now dissipated on that Sand King. Ollie might be the recipient here, which for Aurora might not even be that bad, though ends up dodging it. Nobody's going to be found, at least not initially.
I want to say this series so far has been quite uncharacteristic, right? There's just a lot of very quiet moments in a tournament that has, for the most part, delivered quite a lot of brawling in this stage of the game. Both teams seem to have a...
Especially with a lot of these tanky heroes. A lot of times we see brawl pretty much right off the bat.
It just seems very premeditated from both teams. It's almost like they went into the series with a mindset of, we are going to play slower than we have in our other games. Last game, it obviously very much so favored Aurora when they hit their timings. Let's see if it's going to be the same outcome this time. I assume if you're playing a Doom with Midas, you're kind of happy that this is happening. You're like, okay, you know,
I mean, he did go for the blink, though, so maybe wants to get aggressive a little bit sooner.
Lorinov, well, okay. Spots out YSR and
one
gets
enemy
the hell
hero
out of there.
And runs away.
Yeah, I wonder what he was planning to do down there. Maybe he was... I mean, the Wisdom Rune is absolutely not there minute 17. So
You never know.
I mean, was he... Maybe he was hoping to steal a stack of... He can't farm Ancients either, actually. I wonder what he was planning there.
He was lost. That happened.
Lost in the woods.
Where am I?
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Yep.
23 Savage. We didn't even mention him, the Dragon Knight, going for the facet that we've been seeing pretty much every game.
Yep. Fire Dragon.
Splash. So he also went Hannah Midas. So double Hannah Midas on their team with the armlet now into the BKB. And I assume once he gets BKB, which will line up with the Doom, that is when it is go time for Aurora.
Again, this even more illustrates their view on how Team Zero is playing this series, right? It's almost like they talked before the series and they were just saying, Zero are playing really passive today. We can get away with being as greedy as we want. So we're going to first pick Doom and we're going to run double Midas. And so far, they really have not been punished very much for this greed. They're even just, you know, if this were a pub game, the Sniper would have also bought Midas. But at the very least, Q has not done that. He's going Drums Force. But you look at the map split, Sniper is just farming top alone, The other heroes are somewhat covering each other, but spreading relatively thin to just maximize farm around the map. See if they finally find a pick here onto Q. It looks like he's going to be in some serious trouble in a moment. Has the lane ward to protect him, though.
Okay, Jabs is the one that jumps and gets off the Doom onto the Sand King, and that is the death of 7E, the mid laner of Team Zero. Onlo, looks like he'll be able to TP out.
Yeah, I suppose, never mind. Unsurprisingly, Aurora will be the first ones to make the move. Has kind of been the pattern of this series so far. Zero were starting to set something up, but it just took so long. And then the moment of opportunity was gone. And of course, this lane ward from Aurora was instrumental in this outcome. They had full-on vision of the Sand King being in the lane. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they brought up the Doom through the gate. So, the gate TP. And this just buys them more time. Now they can chill again. Doom is on cooldown. Usually you would love to see Team Zero really try to press the issue here. Knowing that Doom is unavailable gives them a lot of freedom in the upcoming fight, but haven't really shown too much initiative and interest in doing so. So the Midases will keep rolling.
Absolutely. It will pay off. Pipe's not that far away for Mr. Beyond on the Kunkka. And yeah, I'm interested. I mean, I assume it will be Ags after the fact, but we'll see how much impact that has in this game.
It's just, it doesn't make much sense to go Orchid on Kunkka and then not look for a fight. And now you're farming a pipe, and then...
it feels like he used it. They ran away, and then he's like, okay, I'm going pipe.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
So, I mean, credit to Aurora as well for not dropping the ball, right? They're really not giving them many moments of opportunity. Now, finally, they might find one here onto Q, who was shrapneling mid.
Yep, lots of burst.
First finger kill of the game. Lion is now melee.
First finger usage of the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Keep an eye on him. He is still melee. Gotta love that facet.
Remember when we saw that used for the first time, we legit thought that they missed and then everybody goes for it now. I mean, you get those extra stacks sometimes, but I'm sure it's costs some kills not being able to use your range attack on like very low targets.
Dire's middle tower is
overall,
under attack.
It just seems like why not? Maybe I get extra stacks.
I do feel like there's a good chance that Lion is one of the upcoming heroes that get a change to the facets.
What? No. You mean the other one, surely. This one's too cool.
I mean, sure. It's just when you look at him compared to many of the other heroes that we see in meta right now, it feels like his choice in facet seems like one of the least important ones compared to other heroes.
I would say,
right?
I mean, there's another hero in the meta, which is in this game, is Kunkka. He has some of the worst facets in the game. They're really weird. I mean, he had the terrible innate, which was just Tidebringer before, and the reason he's good now is because the innate changed, and he kept Tidebringer, right?
I think the Kunkka choices are better than Lion's. Okay. But, I mean, they're absolutely also not... They're not the best.
There's the cool factor of the Lion one.
That's true, and that should never be underestimated.
Absolutely, as we have a gank attempt here. Lorenov opening it up with the Doom from Jabs as well. BKB pop from Lorenov just to make sure that Winrunner gets low enough. Will she, though?
I think.
Yeah, Lorenov will attempt to TP out in the cover of the BKB. Will be able to do so. In the meantime, Jabs is punished.
Okay.
They do not get the kill on Yes Sir.
Do you think it's going to catch on?
I don't care.
I hope he changes name.
What else am I supposed to call him? Like, seriously, you want me to say YSR-04E?
I wonder what it's a reference to. When I see this name, I just think of a robot. And I can really appreciate that.
Yeah, you should feel right at home.
Yeah, this is my new favorite player. Like, I'm so disappointed I didn't come up with this nickname myself.
I mean, Poyo-Yo was a great name, though. That's fun to say. I feel like you only should get one name change in your entire career, and after that, I just don't care anymore. In fact, most of the time, I don't care enough. Like, Big Daddy No Tail never caught on.
Do you think when the players care about what you think?
No, not at all.
Wow, this sounds like such a vicious cycle of nobody caring about each other.
Apathy
Very nice.
rules the world.
Yep.
We have a smoke now for
23 Savage. Is he gonna? Oh, I think he got spotted there.
Him?
I think they saw him.
He's farming away. Yes, sir. Is going to get Dragon Tail, and that's going to be the old Nightfall BKB TP.
All right. I mean, that's a 9-seconder. For a creep camp. I think you're pretty happy with that if you're Wind Ranger.
Yep, for sure. Oh, this would be an enormous kill. Indeed, it goes the way of Team Zero. Lorenov caught off guard. That's the biggest kill of the game in all likelihood.
Yep.
Haven't been many, but...
That is true. It's easy to be the biggest kill if it's the only one.
Huge kill. I mean, he has bottom net worth of all the cores right now, so... But then again, like, really the distribution, like we were talking about before, is not that crazy. Nobody's in a gigantic lead.
No, and that I guess that means we get to start just looking
Doom
ahead.
is a lot lower though than I would think at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things with this facet in a way, right? If it becomes a complete stalemate where nothing is happening, you wish you had the other facet.
Yeah.
Because you're just losing GPM by having Gluttony. But it's tricky because how much better did your lane go because of Gluttony? In this game, I think it didn't matter at all. So
But he gets 1% more move speed with the speed aura because of this facet.
That's some efficiency right there for farming, for sure. Gets to the camp fraction of a second quicker. So what I wanted to say was, now that we're in this spot, I think it's very likely this game is going to 45 minutes. Unless something drastic happens in the next 10. So we can start theorycrafting. All right, which lineup actually has the scaling? In theory, the support sniper can become a monster. The Tusk is very poor. Like, Ollie is not going to reach any sort of ags or critical mass timing, realistically speaking, in this game. On the other side, however, you have the Phoenix, who is one of the kings of late game as a support. So I really like the supporting cast of Zero going later. And I honestly think their tri-core scales very well. So I don't really have the concern that even if Doom were to get quite big, that Zero don't have the solutions, because I like their support scaling so much. So perhaps that's also how they're thinking. Like, yeah, we have big supports. Ponlo just got a lot of levels, by the way. He's now level 12 on the line. The corresponding supports in the team. Sniper's also level 12. He's been farming a lot of jungle. But Ollie on the Tusk only level 10. With this Aegis, though, are we going to see Zero force the issue? Looks to be a little bit of a poke at top tier 2 at the very least.
Much like cordwood
Aurora
before axes.
maybe want to defend. There's a 4-man smoke. They're only showing Savage mid. Back off and get smoked as well. Ponlo breaking it immediately.
Smoke. Gets a double impale.
Is he going to live, though? He doesn't have dagger, remember?
Yep, jabs. Go on top of him as there's the initiation from Aurora, focusing everything onto the Sand King. He's dead, just like that. You can see, yes sir, in the cover of the BKB, doing as much damage as he can to the south as Ponlo taken out by the Dragon Knight. And the egg finally placed. I don't think he can take this out. He'll have to run away, or indeed fly, since he is a dragon. Gleipnir on top, you see TP support coming. Lornov still has a lot of mana to work with, though. See if Aurora want to reinitiate this fight. Toron onto the Dragon Knight does fall in the end, and the boat deletes Ollie from the face of the earth here, as the buyback actually came out from the Tusk. Didn't even realize that, so that is a dieback as well.
Wow, that was such a good torrent. He was lining up for the snowball save, and then they both get torrented together, and the Dragon Knight dies before the ball can go off. Really nicely done there from Beyond, and also from YSR just chasing through, right? They kept the fight going despite losing the Sand King so early. They had the confidence that even down a core, this was their fight to win, and they were right. So a very good read under the circumstances, and they maintained their Aegis. So they still have 2.5 minutes of power play now coming up. They X-marked YSR back for a refill. He's now going to join the next fight with a full Crystallis now completed as well.
For Aurora, it felt like a really awkward fight. Like 23 Savage ended up getting separated from everybody, just chasing down the Lion, and ended up not working out for them. And the dieback really hurts. You talked about how poor Ollie was to begin with.
Oh, he is. His game is absolutely down the drain here. It is.
This is looking like an old school position 5. As
they find Jabs for free.
Jabs is done.
Yeah, pinging out a ward that isn't there as well, so they're probably going to waste some time looking for this. It's in fact not where he was spotted from. He was just searched for by YSR there successfully.
5K lead for Team Zero. Starting to pull away a bit.
This is a very healthy position for their lineup to be in right now. Obviously, adding on top the Devourer factor and all of that, having the Aegis. And you would expect them at this point to kind of be able to corner the map, because their lineup is really good at skirmishing. They have multiple combinations of 2 to 3 heroes that can threaten kills. So if one core is showing, like now where YSR is pushing this tower, you can't reliably spread out exactly the way you want, because you could just be ganked by a duo or a trio in a smoke. And YSR could pull off this as a fake play because he has Aegis, so there's the backup protection of that. So in essence, the way you're moving around the map now is kind of going to be forced to be a little bit tight, and that does cost in the farm department when your heroes need to cover each other as much as they do. Lornoff will steal a Wisdom Rune here, but it'll be a 1-for-1 trade, as YSR will be taking the Dire one in just a second.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
There either. Now, two really big item alerts here for Zero lining up perfectly. Bloodstone and Daedalus coming out now, 28 minutes in. This is a massive power spike.
Indeed. And the BKB is up for Beyond, so they are certainly in fighting shape. Only 30 seconds on the Aegis, though, so typically teams will not force a fight in this type of a situation. And I mean, the lead is dissipating a bit, so Aurora is still finding farm across the map. It's not really one of those snowball situations, but this next fight is going to be pivotal.
Yeah.
And we can see the Storm still way on the downside of cores in terms of net worth, along with the Doom. YSR.
He's getting the most value out of his Aegis that he can.
Yeah.
He's going to use the regen to kill the Tormentor. All right.
Very strong.
That's something.
All right, Ponlo gets his shard, so he'll mana drain with the
Debuff immunity. Yep. 60% magic resist as well on top.
Does feel like a game where they're just going to wait for the next Roche, unless they run into somebody from Aurora.
It is interesting, though, because this is the type of... You saw the last fight where Aurora very determinedly went for the Lion. If he can somehow react in time and get mana drain out, the fight can actually get really awkward for them, because they don't have single target burst to kill him when he's draining. He's going to survive with his 2k health plus a rum buff or a pipe or whatever. If they do jump him, they have to get the stun in immediately. So the shard, I think it's definitely not as good as it used to be when Lions were just rushing the shard and just owning up team fights, but it still has very much merit in a game state like this. Now he also has his dagger, so he can blink in, do his stun combo, full burst, and then just start mana draining to protect himself. It's going to feel really nice for him. Now the smoke's coming out a bit from both teams. And this, as you said, is going to be an absolutely pivotal fight, and it does feel like Zero have a couple of advantages heading into this one. Dragon form already half duration gone, and they do have that little bit of an item leg up against the other side. But guess what? As has been topical for this game, nobody sees each other.
Okay, so I was wondering where you're going with that. I mean, like you said, the Dragon form was ending soon, so I was a little surprised that Aurora wanted to take a fight at that point.
I think it's probably a good call to dodge from their perspective. But I was expecting Zero to maybe be a little bit more bloodthirsty here. They'll instead steal the enemy Tormentor, so they get both of them. Let's see which hero this one goes to. It will go to the Phoenix. Very nice for him to get that freebie. So now can Sunray during the Supernova, and it slows, and it also, it's a massive luxury for Phoenix, because a lot of the time you buy this one. So getting that for free just allows ZZQ to scale even further.
He almost has a sheep stick, by the way.
Yep.
That is...
And keep in mind, this is a 5 in quotation marks. He is just leading the charge, and they're scared of this Phoenix. He's just going in front.
I don't blame them.
Doesn't care.
Ollie with the TP. Impale will end him. And the finger. Is that number 2? Could be Yeah, that's the second finger used in a 31-minute game.
Go and cleave a creep camp. Oh, they're farmed already.
What a shame.
He can't
even deward.
He can't deward.
Oh, no. Making the facet look so bad.
That's amazing.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's amazing. I haven't seen that before.
Well, I've seen it in pubs many times, believe you me. He'll get some of his mana back for his troubles. But yeah, Aurora starting to slip away from them after dominating in that first overall game in this best of 3. Remember, the winner of this series goes upper bracket for the main event here at TI 13, which nobody's calling it TI 13, but
TI 2024.
Yeah, TI 13.
Maybe it's easier for people to remember what year it is.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they renamed it.
Skipped a year, so that does. I agree, it is a bit annoying.
Yeah, so I think the way we solve this is by having 2 TIs next year.
I'm up for that.
Catch up. We got to catch up to schedule somehow, right?
True. 23 Savage has his MKB to be able to counteract that Windrunner, but will it be enough? Feels like it hasn't really been just like a team fight this entire game. And we're going to see probably a Roche attempt. Most likely a Roche off as Aurora will be smoking up in anticipation.
The hero to watch right now is Phoenix. If ZZQ gets off a good Hex and a good Supernova, I think this fight for Aurora is extremely difficult. However, if Aurora managed to jump ZZQ and burst him first, I think it could lead to a very good fight. This Phoenix does not have buyback gold after committing for the Hex.
Yeah, that's true.
So if they do get this wraparound from the southwest and they somehow find the Phoenix in this tree line as the very first target for Storm, that would be huge for them. ZZQ is holding a very firm position, and they will offer up. It looks like Beyond is sniffing this out, leading the charge.
Savage jumps in. BKB from Beyond to be able to dodge that Dragon Tail. There's the Phoenix diving, and already at half HP is the DK. There's the Finger of Death. The snowball save for the time being. Lornoff on the back sword, trying to be able to take out a support in the back line, as the Tusk is already dead, and 23 Savage follows suit, and just like that, Aurora have lost this team fight. Bonlo misses the Impale, but will be able to actually cancel the TP on the Sniper as well. This will be 4 kills with very little response. Triple kill for Yes Sir, and into the Roche Pit they will go.
Really nice hero placement there from Zero. Just offering up the Kunkka as a target, and he was super quick on the BKB against the Dragon Knight. And then the Phoenix, again, completely pivotal in that fight. Gets to Icarus dive in and hex the DK, gets to get full duration Sunray off and Supernova. And I mean, just look at the damage recap in that fight, right? He did the same damage as the Sand King and the Kunkka did on that 5 Phoenix. And Phoenix can have even more impact than this, but it's just, you know, you combine all of these factors together and it just makes for a very clean and easy fight for them. And whoever made the call to position their heroes just that way might have just won the game. That was very, very clean. No casualties and a lot of rewards.
Yep, and when you're playing a Phoenix, you love to see these tanky heroes. We talked about it. The Sunray percentage-based damage is insane. And with that, the Aegis is now on Yes Sir, who is getting close to a Lincoln Sphere now. And he just does a lot of damage. I think that's what it says in the HUD there. Universal hero for some reason. I wonder if she wasn't universal. I guess she wouldn't be good, right?
If she were int?
Yeah. Like,
she'd definitely be worse.
Yeah, she would be way worse. Yeah. As the AC almost there for Beyond as well. So lots of items coming in for Team Zero, and they're going to try for high ground.
Radiant structures are fortified.
In the dragon form now. Going to pull the wave a bit.
There's that banner,
siege creep, though.
Banner on double siege. What are Aurora going to do about this?
Well, you do have Sniper. You have the range.
True.
Not get jumped. He's going to be taking out the ward first, and now
the good call.
Ultimate counter to Roche's banner, a dwarf, but he's going to get Gleipnir'd. Get force staffed his way, but they have the Dragon Tail and the Assassinate onto the Windrunner. She does have Aegis, so that's life number 1. Jabs jumping in, gets the Doom off onto the Phoenix. That's a really important target. They'd be able to take him out easily, but buyback instantly. Still has the egg to work with if he can get there fast enough. Yes Sir pops the BKB, and they're going to have to retreat. I think this was a successful defense by Aurora.
Very good hold. And they made the right call there, dooming the Phoenix. I think this was... Aurora clearly identify what the biggest problem they have right now is. If ZZQ gets to play the fight, they're not winning it. So Jabs just full-on commits in, gets the Doom off on the Phoenix, and in the meantime, they also get rid of the Aegis. So very nice.
There's no Doom or Dragon form.
Yes, so Zero might keep this push going, but it does feel kind of risky to do. So perhaps they're going to think, yep, they are indeed going to back off. I don't blame them for this. I think it's a tough choice to make because you feel like, okay, they have 2 big spells down. But at the same time, if you fail this push, you throw away your entire advantage. So perhaps better to wait it out a little bit. Okay, Aeon is coming out for line. A rather unusual purchase, I would say. We haven't seen many of that item this tournament.
True.
And he will combine it as well. He's not keeping it disassembled for assembly in the heat of the moment. Ponlo, in his old age, doesn't trust the fast fingers. Not fat fingers, he definitely doesn't have those.
Well, I thought you were describing me for a second there.
Yep.
Old age and fat fingers. It's a deadly combination. The damage rune available. And, well, 23 Savage... He's going to get shackled. I'm surprised he just TP'd there.
He doesn't have BKB ready.
Yeah, you're right.
He's dead. He's actually... Oh my goodness, that is...
Wow.
That is just not what should have happened.
Wow.
I wonder if he thought he had BKB ready to go out on that mission on his own.
It must have been. It absolutely must have been.
Ponlo will get his...
Okay, there's an Eon.
Nice.
That's why they keep it disassembled, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. He really didn't need it there. But it's going to take a little assassinate to the back of the head as well.
But with DK dead, I mean, high ground is available. Jabs jumping in with the BKB and the Shivas. Gets the Doom off onto the Windrunner. She's dead, just like that. That is a big one for Aurora, but they lose the Tusk in turn. Question is, does Team Zero continue on here? I'm very impressed with Aurora's choice here to not buy back the Dragon Knight, but I don't know if I'm positively or negatively impressed. I mean, it's like, doesn't have Dragon form.
Making that decision in this moment that DK does not buy back when you commit to this fight, I feel like it's a very difficult call to make. Yeah. And ultimately the result here is probably still going to be the loss of the barracks, but you at least killed the Windranger in this situation in a 4v5. I feel like almost every other team there buys back their carry and tries to take that fight full on. And perhaps Aurora are going to regret not doing that there. But it's a very difficult choice to not buy him back there. Shows a lot of restraint on his part.
Structures are fortified. Super fortified.
Am I an idiot? I think it's the right choice. I don't think you do anything.
I'm not sure.
Melee DK.
Yeah, you still have quite a lot to offer, right? You have a stun, you have the fire facet, so you splash, you do decent damage, and with how that fight worked out, they instantly killed Windranger. Who knows? Like, it's one of those, what if he had bought back and they could have chained that into 4 kills and not lost their barracks? But the alternative is he buys back and they disengage and he looks like a clown, right? So, but it's the right TI to do it.
The right TI?
Yeah, to look like a clown.
Oh.
So it's the map.
I gotcha. That was good. Yeah. Think we're going to see Ringmaster at this event?
Yep.
That's gonna be the finals day. They're gonna enable him.
I think they put him in. They'll put him in CM in Game 3 of the Grand Final.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes, I love it.
And then the whole arena will just be playing.
Yeah, I've been loving hearing those voices. Yep. What a joy.
Yes. Which one do you like better, Slacks or Jenkins? Who's the better clown?
I don't know. I think one's more expensive than the other, but I have to double check on that.
Who's the better clown in real life?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, they're both good at that.
Here I am.
Parasma is almost completed for the Storm Spirit.
Regeneration.
I mean, he is pretty farmed. 20k net worth, obviously quite behind the Windrunner, but compared to everybody else, you can definitely have some major impact on this Storm Spirit. I mean, we've seen crazier things in terms of comebacks with the likes of this hero. A lot of times it does end up being like an Aghanim Scepter purchase, I want to say. But
yep, for sure.
They don't really have the lineup to... I mean, you have Splash Attack, but it's not like they have any Wombo Combo type potential.
You pull everyone into 3 fast shrapnels.
Yeah. Really.
Sick.
Hype.
I think Parasma is the right choice. I'm with you. I mean, the AoE control is nice and all, but if they can't reliably kill off the heroes regardless, then there's possibly better ways of spending the gold where you just really focus on eliminating a single target fast. Now, the thing that's going to get tricky is if this Phoenix... Okay, hang on. Let's see if they actually get this Tormentor
Dragon form Ollie. Okay, they know that Tormentor is being taken, or at least damaged, as the Burrow Strike actually hits 3 heroes, but I think the Sand King might be in a precarious spot here. Doom has already used the Sand King, gets evaporated. Trying to get to the other side of the wall. They're going to be able to lose the Sniper and the Tusk. We have the buyback available for the Tusk. Speaking of buybacks, though, the Sand King, Mr. 7E, back in the game. So the question is, with that buyback, do you push the envelope?
I think if you watch that replay, I think his teammates did not expect him to go. Like that.
Yeah,
it was like there was 500 ping on his whole team. They just needed to what? And then they followed through. That was so spontaneous, and honestly, I kind of like the play, but they have to do it all together at the same time for that to be really good. He's gonna go in.
7E gets the Burrow Strike, but gets Dragon Tailed shortly after. 23 Savage already half HP, but now has to back away if he can, though. Gleipnir keeps him in place. We're not going to go any farther, but it is a melee Dragon Knight now, so not nearly as fearsome. This tower will fall in favor of Team Zero, as you can see a refresher on the Doom.
He doesn't have the mana for it, though.
Them out of their misery.
Well, I mean, he's in base, so if they push right now, he could get...
Right, sure, he could pop it now and have one, but he can't really double Doom in a fight. He doesn't have the items for it. His tier 4 neutral item is Ogre Seal Totem, so it doesn't give him mana pool.
Time for some Royal Jelly, truly min-max.
Using 2 Dooms costs, what is it? Is it exactly 1,000 mana? Yeah. If you use nothing else, it's 1,000 mana, and he has 750.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge he has to solve. Okay, so he's going to go for an int. He went for an int Vambrace instead of his tier 4 neutral item.
Oh.
So he's going to get some mana there, and the null, as you said, gets him to 1,000. So now he can double Doom, but he needs to not use Shiva or BKB. He can BKB. The mono region will catch up, but he can't BKB, and he actually needs to be really careful with pressing his buttons.
Somebody needs to mana boots this man after the Doom has been used.
Yep, or that.
Yes, sir. Taking out the range racks, Dragon Tail up.
Very good
BKB and the Lincolns.
Triple BKB from Aurora.
Yeah, that is
they used everything.
A 3-for-1 special there.
3-for-1. They used Dragon Form.
And Roche is almost up. This is perfect timing for Team Zero.
Yeah, they're going to get this one completely free. I don't see any possible way for Aurora to contest this with 3 BKBs on cooldown. And what a dream timing as well. It spawned 4 seconds ago, and they just ran into the pit now, and they claim it.
How handy.
That's...
So this will have Refresher Shard. Who do you want to see that on? I mean, typically it would be the Kunkka, but did not go for the Ags build.
Maybe giving it to Sand King isn't half bad. Like, if he's going to go for those 3-man stuns, give him 2 of them, right?
True.
He is the one holding it for now, but what item is he going to swap out? He's going to swap out the phase?
The Ninja Gear is still easily the best tier 4 item, right? Is there any consideration for anything else? Like, seriously. With all the nerfs, it's still so good.
It is really good. They do have 4 of them. Yeah, that's a lot of them. Maybe.
Right, well, with the Aegis, Team Zero look for another high ground attempt. They have 1 lane in the top. This will spread them out, going for this melee to finish off the second set.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I mean, it is a pretty annoying lineup to push into, though.
Nice little detail there from YSR. He dropped his, or he backpacked his Lincolns when Assassinate was coming in. He really wants to keep this available against the Doom. And he's going to have to do it again.
That's when you go in for the Doom, I suppose. As 23 Savage pops that Dragon Form. You can see Ponlo. Yundis already procced. Jabs was looking for the Doom. Already popped his BKBs. Here comes the boat. Egg is used, though, as Lorenov trying to take out YSR, but it's not going to happen. Too tanky. Gleipnir now onto the Tusk.
They can't fight into Supernova, so the full disengage from Aurora, absolutely the right call there. Now, do you give the Refresher Shard to Phoenix and go again now? Or are you holding out and just waiting? You have time on the Aegis. You don't have to force this. You have 3.5 minutes. Take your time. But you would think with, again, Dragon Form popped, Doom BKB, Storm BKB, this does feel like the perfect opportunity to strike for Zero. I think waiting out their Supernova is actually a mistake. And, oh, he has his own Refresher Orb now.
Oh!
I mean...
That's handy.
Get in there. I think it's time to get in there. All right, Lincoln's popped on Windranger, but she still has the Aegis, so even if she does get doomed,
yep, and melee Dragon Knight just realized he doesn't have wings anymore. And yeah, they're just going to give it up. Man, the fights have been so long. I mean, perhaps just waiting out the Dragon Form is enough to not worry about anything. 23 Savage trying to look fierce on the high ground.
Yep. Should have used a different helm then.
New cosmetics are needed for him. Okay, YSR inside the shards. Pops the BKB. Lincoln's already procced as well. Comes the egg potential.
Oh my god, that damage.
Beautiful epicenter. 23 Savage then along with Ollie. As he gets the finger death. Double kill for 7E. And the Storm Spirit buys back. So does 23 Savage. Trying to put everything onto. That's the Active Scepter actually reflected with the Lotus. So Doom has doomed himself, essentially, and that's just the Aegis taken out.
Aurora have nothing left in the tank, and they're fighting against 2 Supernovas in a moment. This fight is borderline impossible. They need to get something ridiculous going their way.
Or jabs. Even the Lion is up front and personal with the barracks. I'm not sure why. But that is going to be another set of racks for the likes of Team Zero, who now have Mega Creeps and looking to end this game number 2 to take us the full distance of 3 games for the best of 3. There's the egg. Sunray just ripping through 20 damage along with White Car. Just too much damage to deal with, and like that, it's over. We're going
All
to
right.
game number 3.
Well, if there was any questions after game number 1 about whether Team Zero were going to wake up, I think you got your answer. But it did take them a while to wake up.
Yeah, I mean, it is evening here, so I mean, I'd be worried if they were waking up anyway.
But it did seem by design. Like, this was a very slow victory, all things considered, but in the fights that mattered, they were just way stronger. So, credit to them for swinging back after a